There is no road connection between North and South America because there is this gap, which is known as the Darien Gap. If you want to travel from Panama to Colombia or vice versa, you have to either go by boat, go by air, or hike through the jungle. My name is Rick Morales, and I'll be leading the next Secret Compass expedition to the Darien Gap in Panama this spring. The Darien Gap is the easternmost part of Panama. It's a bordering region with Colombia. It was the first place that was explored and colonized in the mainland of the Americas. So you would think that this region should be the most built up of the whole continent. It isn't. It's one of the wildest. There are two targets for this expedition. One is to reach this site of ancient petroglyphs. These are 5,000-year-old petroglyphs that have been carved in a huge boulder in the middle of the jungle.
Really challenging getting here. We've had blisters, we've had heat stroke, we've had all sorts of different things, but we're here now, which is fantastic. So those are the petroglyphs themselves. We're going to investigate them in a minute. So we can see some really good examples over here of more jackal prints. And a really good face as well, if you can see over there as well. More panther prints here, and then up at the top, we can see the chief.
And then the ultimate aim is to trek over mountain ranges and valleys and across rivers, through indigenous villages, camping in the jungle as well, and then finally ending on the Pacific coast. The route takes us by dugout canoe to the very heart of the Darien Gap, and from there we start tramping through this very steamy, very humid jungle. The temperature is usually around 30 degrees Celsius, 31, so it's not very hot, but the humidity is very high. It's also very irregular in terms of terrain. The jungle is not flat. There's elevation change.
We are currently up a very high mountain in the Darien Gap. We're looking for some petroglyphs, and we are all sweating profusely.
What day is this of your hike?
Well, that's a good question. It's day 3.
All right, and how do you like it so far?
I love it. It's invigorating.
Every couple of days, we end up at an indigenous village, and we see how people live in the Darien, like in very remote and isolated parts of the Americas. The most prominent people are the Embera indigenous people who live up along the rivers. And then we have descendants from the African slaves that were brought in the 16th and 17th century. So those are the two main ethnic groups that we find in the Darien, and we're going to meet both of them. Camp is like a little oasis where you get cleaned up. There's a nice river right by you. You can cook, you can rest, you can sleep, very comfortably in your hammock. The hammock is their home. The kind of food that we're going to be eating varies. We take homemade, local food that we dehydrate and then rehydrate in the field. But also we're going to be eating local food. Whatever we encounter when we get to these villages. In the past it's been tubers, it's been some kind of wild meat that they've hunted. It's been chicken, and it's also been, canned sardines that they bought at the nearby store, which is many miles down the river. So it's really random. We don't know what they'll have. It's worthwhile to take part in this expedition because it's very unique. There might be other initiatives and efforts and companies going towards the Darien, but they don't actually venture very deep into the Darien. We cross a large section of it. We actually get to the heart and then cross it all the way to the ocean. Also, traversing the jungle by foot for a long period of time. It's hot and it's steamy, but at the same time it's really beautiful. And then this site of ancient petroglyphs, just to be able to get there is really unique.